What's going on? So, yeah, here's the stock servo arms. We talked about it. This is for the 67-inch Skywing plug and play. So the whole idea of plug and play, you know, the thing like the extreme flight, it took me an hour, and I was kind of embarrassed because it should have took me 15 minutes, and that thing was in the air. Now the extreme flight did have the problem with no mechanical advantage and resolution on the servos, but these are the arms that come on the plug and play for extreme flight. So I was able to move from this outside hole 2 holes in and to the inside hole, which is 3/8 of an inch or so, and I was able to get resolution and mechanical advantage. So you can do a few things here. Here's a stock arm that you get for free with your plug and play. Well, no, free is the right word. You've paid for an arm, so you got an arm. You can take and drill all these, and the elevators are going to have to be the most perfect, but the ailerons need to be perfect too. And, if you got a drill press and if you make a jig and all that stuff, but I was like, for a couple bucks, I'm not gonna, too much of perfections. I would think about, I would be be thinking about when I'm flying, like, oh, those things are not dead nuts. So I kind of cancel that out, but you could do that, if you want to save some money. Then you could buy these. I bought these from Extreme Flight, and getting these shipped out here wasn't super cheap. It's like $50. Sorry, your plug and play just went up quite a bit. And these are nice. They're Extreme Flight, which all their stuff's nice, and has the clamp, to secondarily secure the servo arm, which is nice. They're heavier than the stock arms because of that, but then their holes, or I don't know if you could see on the phone. Yeah, you can kind of see there. Yeah, pretty close. They're smaller, so they're 2mm. That says M2, and this is M2.5. See if you can read all that. Maybe you could see that. You could definitely see the M2 on the Extreme Flight, but that says 2.5 on the stock. There you go. Skywing arms. So if you get these, they'll just be a little bit heavier. They're expensive to get shipped out to you, but not if you get them with the order. It'll be cheaper because you want to pay separate shipping on them. And then you just have to drill them out. You could drill and tap them, or you could just drill them, and just bolt it. It'd be better to drill and tap, but so you can do that, easy enough. Or for way cheaper with free shipping, if you have a Amazon Prime account, you can get these off Amazon. And if anybody wants them, I will post a link. I'm trying to remember the name. It's some kind of Gulu or something. Lulu. But yeah, it comes in a pack of 5 for like $9. It's pretty killer. They don't have the clamping device, which even the Skywings do. But I think for the size plane and all this stuff, and we used to use these non-clamping ones for years on the big planes, on 170cc and up, like anything. And I checked them out, and they fit pretty nice. So I don't think those would strip out plane this size. I think pretty golden. They seem to be pretty good. They're like the lightest of the 3, and then they have all these holes, and the holes are 2.5. So that's the bolt from Skywing. So no drilling, no tapping. Super cheap. Yeah, with Amazon Prime, you're $9.90 for 5 delivered. So for me, this looks like winner chicken dinner. Definitely the one I'm going to try out. I can't imagine that, without the clamping bolt, that's going to strip. I think that's going to be great. And yeah. So I'm going to use these. I'm going to run that hole. So it's going to be, these are the same length as these. So it's going to be, around 7/16 in. Wouldn't be surprised if I could go all the way in, but I'm going to give this a try first. And I'll move them in, if I don't get over 100 on my endpoints, I will move it in one more. But I think that's going to do it. Then you get into this situation, which is kind of nice on this too, where you're neutral there. And then this thing, if this thing was all squared up, it's about right there. And you know how I always want those to be parallel. I want it to be over here, not out over here. Now, if you used a long arm, if you had a 2-inch arm here, then this position would be great. 1.5-inch arm, it's not bad, but you start to get into 1 inch, like I'm using now, then you really want that control horn over. What's nice, this is a single horn, a single truss, you might call it, instead of the dual truss, you know, for the bigger planes that need more strength. And so I'm just going to take this and move it on that side. So I'm going to come up with the exact geometry that I like, just by putting this on the other side. Like, it'll be ideal for me. It'll be exactly what I want. So I'll be pretty stoked. Yeah, that's about lined up. So wait a minute, about right there. That's about lined up where it will be. So it'll be a whole ball link over here. So that's going to give me the angles I want. It's going to be really good. So I'm pretty stoked on that. And you know, I've shown you guys, even though in the past, if there was a 120 or 170 cc plane and the trusses are over here, that's typical. They'll have that truss there and the next truss over here. I've run the bolt long, put spacers in the middle, and then put the ball link on the outside. And you know, that does have like some leverage against the holes, but I've totally had it hold up. I think it's because it's better geometry. It just, you know, I've never even had it, you know, slightly weaken. So that's worked out pretty well. That's another story altogether. But yeah, I'm going to move this over, and I'm going to use these 2.5, you know, so they have the 25 tooth, 3 millimeter hole for the output gear screw, and then the 2.5 for this turnbuckle push rod connection. So exactly what you want. Only $9 for 5. Can't beat it. I think it's going to work out great. So that's what I'm going to use on there. So I'm going to change this all out. I just went ahead and changed out the BEC with, the ESC with integrated BEC. And because my BEC was DOA, I love these acronyms, on my plane when I got it. So that's what dead on arrival means, when you got it. And so yeah, I replaced that and heat shrink that all up, and that thing's like good to go. So that's fixed, and now I'm just going to fix this. And it's not that big a deal. It's only 4 servos, you know, 1 elevator, 1 rudder, and 1 for each ailerons is 4. So this won't take too long, and then I'll get the better geometry over here, and I'll be stoked. Yeah, and I'll let you guys know what the endpoints turn out to be. I'll save this video and just, piggyback it on to the next video and make one video out of it. And yeah, I'll let you know how it all turns out. All right. See what I mean about this control horn position? Now that you have your, let's get that right up, neutral. Now that you have your titanium push rod turnbuckle in a hole that's going to give you resolution and mechanical advantage, but still 39 degrees up and down travel, no problem. You can see, back it up a little bit, that this is going at an angle that way. And that's not too bad right there, at neutral, but as you push it down, you can see that it's pushing, 38 is probably only right there, so we no reason to exaggerate it, but it's pushing the surface that way. So let's see where it's, yeah, let's get it kind of lined up. So instead of pushing it straight, it's pushing at an angle. So that's not good for several reasons. One, if you take a surface, flat surface that you're trying to push, and instead of having, whatever you're using to push it go straight into it, take and turn that at an angle and try to push it. The surface is still going to try to go this way, but you're trying to push this way. Now you can push something at an angle that way, and it's hinged and it'll still keep going, but you're losing all your leverage that you'd have is if you push straight into it. And then the other thing is you get into what I always talk about with this, you get pry load on this output gear. So as you go off to an angle, then this is trying to push up. As that's pushing the surface, it's prying this up. As they're more straight in line, it's more of a side load, so it's not prying on the output gear. So you got two things there you're dealing with. And this is why I always want the manufacturers to change this, but because even if you used a 2-inch arm here, because now we're using, basically, I don't know what I'd call that, 7/8 to 1 inch, probably in the 7/8 range. Yeah, about 7/8. You're fine having this on this side, but even if you use 2-inch, you're fine again using it. But that gets into the other thing too. Skywing uses the wider control horn trusses, to where you can get an easier pivot. And Extreme Flight, I got to make a second slot. I put 2 conicals in, then it turns out even better than the Skywing, with those Dubro conicals in there. But you got to make your own slots, for the Extreme Flight planes. But in a way, that's better. Like I said, they come out the best if you take the trouble, take the time to do that. Which, yeah, the way I do it with a drill bit, it's like 5 minutes to do the whole plane on a 120cc. So no big deal. But this will be perfect on this plane. I'll just move this over here. But just having put it on right now, you can see, that that you're pushing the aileron on an angle instead of, here. Yeah, look at that too. So you're pulling it on an angle too, but at neutral, and you're pushing pretty much straight into it. Even there, it's slightly off, but it's pretty straight into it. So you're going to get your best leverage that way. The more off to an angle that you're pushing into, a hinged surface like this, then the less torque you're going to have, the less leverage you're going to have. I think torque's going to be the same, but leverage is going to be gone. Okay, so that's that. I just thought I'd show you this midpoint, why I think about these things and why I change these things. And next video, I'll show this on the other side. Okay, so, well, look at that. My new 25 Ultra has a level on the screen. Wow, looks like an airplane. Instrument panel. Cool. So, yeah, put the replacement ESC in there, and its BEC works. And now there's just a single battery, 6-cell battery in there with no 2800, weighing it down. So now the 6-cell battery is working the receiver and the servos. So yeah, the plane will be lighter. It'll be lighter. It'll be lighter next time I fly it, which would be nice. And now my resolution has gone from being with the free sky. It's gone from being 62 on the endpoints on the ailerons now to being 106 to the endpoint on the ailerons. And I should say that that's definitely, if you're coming off Futaba like me, that's misleading, because it's getting 55 degrees of servo movement left and right off the center, so 110 degrees total servo movement, and it still shows 106 on the endpoints. So the endpoints are not the same in relation to the servo movement on free sky to Futaba. It would be a higher number on Futaba. So what the resolution and mechanical advantage you'd get at like 135 on Futaba is pretty much exactly what you'd get on free sky at like 105. So that's a new number to get used to for me. Yeah, I think basically if you get 100 on free sky, you have really good resolution and mechanical advantage. If you get 105, you have, really excellent mechanical advantage. So that's a new thing to get used to. But yeah, I was able to, there's only 2 things you have to do to go from the stock setup, which to me is not good at all. You've got to take the push rod and flip it over to the other side of the control horn, closer to the root of the plane. And then you got to get servo arms, or drill the servo arms that it came with, or get servo arms that are shorter. Like I said, these ones were from Amazon. They have the right tapped holes and everything, and they're $9 for 5. Normally I would take this ball link and I would put it underneath, but because it requires the 55 degrees in each direction to get clearances, I had to keep it on top. Now, how I would get that if I had built this plane, designed this plane, this control horn would be longer. That control horn, it would be taller, not longer, it would be taller. If that was taller, I could have this servo arm, I could go out further on the holes and get the same resolution, same mechanical advantage, but I would have more clearances off of the servo body. And then I could put that ball link underneath on this side of the servo arm, and then it would stay more in the leverage positions that I want it to throughout the range of travel. But that's another story entirely. But yeah, you only have to do the two things. Just move this ball link to the other side on that control horn, and probably buy yourself these off Amazon for $9 is your smartest choice. Move that in 2 holes, leave it on top. Push rod length factory was good to get me what I needed for this particular arrangement, and that was pretty easy. Should feel radically better, just like it did on the Extreme Flight when I did that one. I think this one's was worse, and so will feel even better. I think I mentioned it, or may not have mentioned it. I kind of, for this kind of the free sky thing. Yeah, we're turning into a free sky video. For you guys that have them and are interested or want to get one, actually, it's more for the guys that want to get one, because the guys that have them, they already know this stuff and it's very basic. But yeah, as I explained, I learned about, that when its endpoints have the servo moving a different number of degrees than Futaba. The other thing I wanted to mention on it was the expos. Juan Sanchez, he might have been coming from Spectrum or something, not Futaba, but he was saying, at Skybound RC to add more expo to make it match. But with Futaba, I think it's going to be the same or less. I tried 70% on the expo to be conservative, and on the ailerons felt real bad, super sluggish, stuck in the mud, and then I went to 50 and then 40, and I'm still not completely sure. I'm not going to go a little bit less. We'll see. So that was interesting for guys wondering about these things. And then I guess one of the other interesting things about it too is just that it's been super intuitive to learn to use. I don't even feel like I learned it. I just started using it. I don't do a lot, and it has a million other features like all the other radios do too, that I don't use. So it's fun to know all the features, but I'm not going to use them. I don't need them. All I need to know, and I picked this up and just immediately did it with this, was how to bind to a receiver, how to sub-trim, how to really even assign servos if you want to, but I just went for the default assignments. And then how to sub-trim the servos, reverse direction, and set endpoints, set expo. And then the last thing I did just tonight, and I thought, well, where's that? How hard is it going to be? Is put in a mix. A lot of my planes don't have any mixes, and some have like one. Maybe one plane has 2. I doubt it. I think I got rid of all those planes. I don't think I have a plane with a mix. But this one had some pretty extreme coupling on the roll with the rudder. So I put in a rudder. There we go. Rudder to aileron mix. And then I'll just refine that at the field. But that was easy as pie too. So far, this radio that changes colors as you move it, I think it's pretty cool. It's super easy to do all the things that I need a radio to do. Yeah. So I just thought I'd mention that with the rest. But yeah, this thing's almost ready to go. I think I showed you the ailerons going up and down, so it's 39 degrees each way. They're all totally dialed, and yeah, everything else is working, and the radio's working too. I still think these are stiff, so I'm going to try changing the springs. There is a tension adjustment inside. I might try that first, or you can loosen a little bit, and then I have soft springs for it too. But I think that what I was really hating about the stiffness was the expo, was the combination, but the expo was really getting me. But this is my first playing with this radio, so I'm just getting used to it. That's it. That's your pretty much up to date on this Skywing 67-inch extra NG plug and play. And there's Car Washness saying out.